In this episode of the Journey podcast, we have someone who started food vlogging when it wasn't even a thing. Let's welcome Rohit Srivastava on the Journey podcast. Welcome, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Kalpin, for having me in the.
Engineering at one point in time to a lesser trodden path. When did you take that call? When did you feel that it was enough?
So I'm an engineer and an MBA, and then I was working. But this whole thing of food blogging, as we say, or content creation, started in the final year of my engineering. And the whole reason was I was cooking at home in my PG, and I wanted to put it out there. And Facebook in 2012 was the thing. And I created this community called Foodies of Bhubaneswar Cuttack, and there I started posting pictures. So this was just a creative outlet for me. I never thought of it that this is blogging or this is content creation. It was something I did. And instead of putting it up on my personal handle, because back then, I was not sure how will people treat it, because Facebook was meant to post personal pictures and all.
Right.
So I started posting it on this community page. People started joining in. People started sharing what they are cooking at home, what they are eating out. Queries started coming in, and that journey started from there. It was always a hobby project. It was always a passion project. In 2014, 2012 I had completed my engineering. 2014 I had completed my MBA. I got a first job. I was in my job. It was still my hobby.
Okay. You took it up as a passion project on the side, as a side hustle, right?
Yes, always. Because I was just enjoying the whole process of creating, eating out, reviewing food, sharing it with people. This place is a must-visit place. Bringing out those hidden gems from the city and wherever I used to travel, and building this community of food lovers, food enthusiasts. Then over the period of time, I named it as Food Findo, from Foodies of Bhubaneswar Cuttack to Food Findo. But in 2018, I was at that crossroad where
you had to take a call between whether you want to take it full time or not.
Yes. So 2018 onwards, I have been full time into content creation. I have a marketing agency, full time into social media, and I chose this less traveled path. Thoda uncertainty tha.
Tell me about that moment when you broke it out to your parents. When Mama, Baba, Mom, Dad, I want to do this. I don't want to be in corporate anymore.
So I always had that kida in me from the since my MBA days.
Yeah.
I was into my first job. It was going great. That was the first time I, maybe 2 years into the job, and I was like 2016, I believe, in 16. I started something which was not related to food, but I had that kida in me, so I wanted to do a startup of my own.
Right.
And I started a wedding aggregator website.
Okay.
So I went to my parents and I said that, okay, job is great, but this is what I want to do. And I have supportive parents. So they said, are you sure about it? I said, I think so, I'll do well. And then I quit. That was a very impulsive decision. I have been mostly impulsive.
It was not calculated at that point in time.
So on paper, it was a great idea. That was my first learning of creating something, building something.
Practically, revenue generation,
yes,
you hadn't thought that out.
So after building the product, I went out and I checked. Then I realized that nobody needs this.
Okay.
And by then I had put up all my savings and whatever had to be done.
Yeah.
And then again I was back to square one. So I went back to a job. But at the same time, this Food Finder thing was my passion. Wo side by side chala. I'm not even looking at it from a money making point of view or a business point of view. If it comes, great. If it is not coming, I'm not pushing for it.
Right.
I never looked at it from a money minting point of view. 2018 things had changed. I was in my decision making phase. I knew that this side hustle can actually be my the sole thing that I can pursue, and that is when I took that second leap of faith.
Okay.
But in this journey, people around me were supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky that they said ki if you are sure, do it. They had their reservations ki
Right.
think about it, as what parents will say, think about it. But initially when I used to start in 2012, there were several questions. क्या करते हो दिन भर? What is the point of this? Why are you posting pictures? इससे क्या मिलेगा? कौन सा पैसा आ रहा है इससे? And why
You
you
got a fair
wasting-
share of people trying to bring you down or criticism and all of that stuff.
Yeah, that has been so. There is a slight rebel streak in me. So if you
कि
tell
इनको
me,
prove करना है भाई.
नहीं मुझे अगर आपने एक बार मना किया तो मैं वो 2 बार करूँगा.
अच्छा.
उसके बाद भले ही मुझे दिक्कत हो, but I'll do it
Okay.
twice.
हाँ.
But then that also kind of puts me in trouble at times. but then I have had my share. But I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
I have been surrounded by a lot of supportive people, mostly, and I believe all of us are at some stage surrounded by people who will try to pull you down. But how much I want to give importance to that matters.
Okay, Rohit, let's talk about oldest food memories. Mutton jhoda bhat.
Mutton was a regular feature in our household. Sundays,
Sundays.
matlab, now it's, I eat more frequently, but then back then, I would look forward to a Sunday because Sunday matlab
Mutton day.
Mutton day. So I'll accompany my father to this mutton place. And
What was your place at Cuttack? Where you used to
I used to stay in Mahanadiyar.
Okay.
So we used to go to this place called. So a lot of people from that area must be knowing. Chinu karke tha mutton wala. So because you see mutton with mutton, you have one specific vendor.
हाँ,
You will
उधर ही उसको
उसी
जाना
को
है,
हाँ बस
बोलना
मटन
है,
लेने
हाँ.
उसी के पास जाना है. So I'll go to Chinu and I like first accompany father and then learned ये cuts and ये
Negotiation कैसे
piece
करते हैं,
and
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
ये सब चाहिए. And then we'll come back home and then the cooking happens. And then what happens is कटोरी लेके मैं जाऊँगा टेस्ट करने के लिए.
अच्छा.
So one piece.
मामा फर्स्ट पीस
First.
देकर चख ले कैसा
हाँ
है?
नमक चाहिए नमक
हाँ.
चाहिए and मिर्चा चाहिए. That's how. So kaliji and all of that pieces will be reserved for tasting purpose. And then that developed. And when I started studying MBA and other places, started exploring places. So Wednesday hai, so there will be a mutton day because most of these outlets serve good mutton on Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays. So we would go out exploring mutton places in town. So there was this place in Bapuji Nagar.
Yeah.
है ना old I'm forgetting the name अभी not Hawaii था I believe or
Something
something
of that
है ना
sort, yes, yeah.
small green color place and he would so by then I had been placed in my first company. So afternoon 12:30 1 o'clock I will reach there among the first few people.
Okay.
तो ऊपर का तो वो
By then you'd learned the nuances of the buying skills.
So buying skills and when should you get into a shop? If you're going to a shop, mutton place, कौन से टाइम पे परफेक्ट होता है? थोड़ा लेटर जाओगे, then they must have added water थोड़ा सा ग्रेवी करने के लिए, तो झोड़ा पतला हो जाएगा. So first half an hour के बाद आप जाओ, the mutton will be just perfect, and then the gravy would be absolutely spot on. So 1 o'clock will be my fixed time. I'll go to that Bapuji Nagar place, have mutton curry and rice and nothing else. And then I started going to Odisha Hotel also. So Odisha Hotel, fixed, mandatory. So Wednesdays would be divided between the two. और कभी crazy कुछ करने का मन करता था. So I from Forest Park, my office was in Forest Park. I would go in my two-wheeler all the way to Barunai Dhaba.
Oh, Barunai Dhaba. Okay.
Barunai.
Your friends or just solo?
Solo चला था because I will not tell my office people that I'm going to mutton.
Okay.
1 घंटे में मेरे को जाना है वहाँ पे. I will never return in 1 hour. वहाँ पे mutton खाया and then I'll just arrive and have a good Wednesday meal.
Sundays after the mutton ritual, the nap.
Siesta.
Yeah, the prep siesta, noon siesta.
Yes.
That used to happen.
Yes.
कैसा?
So मैं कितना देर तक सोया is an indication how good was the mutton. So if you have had biryani, if you have good mutton curry, rice, and you had a long nap, मतलब it was absolutely आपने
Sundays sorted,
आत्मा
that
तृप्त lunch कर लिया, आप सो गए.
Okay.
So वो अभी भी ritual है. So Sundays मतलब if I've had good mutton curry and rice, I'll prefer taking a good nap in the afternoon.
Bro, tell me one thing. You're perfectly active, fit and lean despite all those delicacy tasting. how does your fitness regimen look like? Are you naturally so metabolic?
One is metabolism,
Hmm.
good genes. But then somewhere in 2020, 21, while I was lean, but then my body was not
Accepting.
accepting. So
Hmm.
I would look at food and I will just throw up. So ये हाल हो गया था.
Okay.
And
This
that
was
is when
when?
I realized 2020, 21. कोई
COVID
COVID
के
के
time पे.
आसपास.
Okay.
And that lasted for a long time.
Okay.
And I was actually sure that I'm done. हो गया food blogging. Because मेरा interest जो था ना food. And
हाँ.
what happened was, so by till 2018, it was a passion.
Hmm.
Then somehow it became a job.
Yes.
अभी job के लिए खाना है.
Hmm.
तो खाने के पैसे मिलते हैं. तो आपका approach, आपको जो नज़रिया होता है food की तरफ, that changes. And I'm eating out almost every day
Hmm.
outside.
Hmm.
So that some way or the other will start showing up, no matter how good your genes are or your metabolism is.
So you're just crediting your fitness to your genes? No
No,
working
no, no,
out
no,
or
no,
nothing?
no, no. तब तक था.
अच्छा.
But उसके बाद I changed
Okay.
the whole idea about
Regimen.
thing. Yes.
Hmm.
Food tasting करना शुरू किया.
Hmm.
Quantity गया. Only I'll do the tasting part.
बस. हाँ.
Because the frequency that I'm eating out,
Hmm.
that then I got started into walking
Mhm.
and running gradually.
Okay.
So my morning schedule now
Hmm.
is I'm a morning 5:30 person.
Hmm.
I wake up, I go either for cycling
Hmm.
or a walk.
Hmm.
At times running itna nahi, but walk and cycling is for sure.
Hmm.
No matter what happens, it rains or whatever happens, I go out.
Hmm.
Come back, I do a little bit of so I do tai chi घर पे.
Okay.
So I love to eat a lot of things.
Hmm.
सब में से थोड़ा थोड़ा.
थोड़ा
So I
थोड़ा.
like to have a set of people around me so that we can complete all the food.
Right, right.
But वो जो binge eating था वो 2020 तक
It's
किया.
gone.
हाँ, then I realized that it was not showing good signs for my body.
Hmm.
I was just not accepting
All
it.
right. I'm very curious about what content creators themselves consume as content. Talk us about a web series that totally blew you off.
Web series.
Yeah. Or any piece of art, movie, web series, anything. क्या देखते हो तुम Netflix में? क्या देखते हो?
Netflix में I love to watch ये जो sci-fi
Hmm.
रहता है.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of Transformers
Okay.
and या फिर action movies.
Hmm.
Not much into the series,
Hmm.
but at times because if I start then वो थोड़ा binge वाला हो
हो
जाता
जाता
है.
है, हाँ.
तो I have been a fan of Suits. I
Okay.
used to love that.
Hmm.
वो देखा है and बाकी Game of Thrones वो binge करके देखा था. But then उसके बाद ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत सारे series I look forward to.
Hmm.
तो शाम को when you're done with the day,
Hmm.
I randomly just check any movie that's showing rom-coms or the action thriller or
The
sci-fi.
last movie that you really liked.
The Intern was a good movie. I because there was this startup wala hustle thoda,
Acha.
and then how that person is managing the
A team.
life at home and then
Juggling it
the
with
juggling
work, yeah.
between work and that one.
Okay.
I also watched the series Emily in Paris.
Okay, Emily in Paris.
वो इसलिए interesting था because there was this whole social media agency life.
And you were getting into an agency at that point in time.
So that was very interesting because I would see that how these ideas keep popping up and some outrageous ideas that they come up with.
Okay. Acha, 21 states, 4 union territories. Avid traveler you are. One travel story or anecdote that you would like to share with us that still remains deep inside your heart. It can be a food story, a normal stranger meeting where you had a meal with a local at their place. It can be anything.
This video never came out. Balesar.
Hmm.
This is this Parsi family.
Okay.
So they also happen to be friends, ऐसे, but they knew that I was be traveling to Balesar for a food tour.
Okay.
And they said, Rohit, you're invited for a dinner with a family, sham ko. The dinner started at 8:30, and the entire family had turned up. Of family, I think of 10-15 people.
10-15 people?
Yes, the whole clan.
Hmm.
And everyone is dressed in their traditional attire. The ladies were all decked up in their sari with that golden
Gold, yeah,
work,
yeah, yeah.
है ना,
Hmm.
उसको. And then there were stories that how this sari was passed on from generation to generation. The men were dressed up in their attire. and सरोज भाई, he happens to be a friend, and हम तब तक हम लोग ऐसे बस ऑनलाइन बात करते थे, but then I understood the whole culture, and then the stories started rolling in, and the food would arrive like एक item आया, उसके बाद then there'll be a series of stories, and then the next item come, and it went on till 1 or 2 o'clock रात तक.
From 8 to 1
8:30 से शुरू हुआ होगा, एक 1:30 बजे तक चला है. एंड there's food, there's drinks, there's stories. कैलकाटा की स्टोरीज शेयर हो रही हैं, बिना टिकट के कैसे चले गए, वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 के वक्त में जब अमेरिकन सोल्जर्स वुड बी इन ओडिशा, एंड देन हाउ दे वुड pick up
nuggets of history.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the whole story around how they saw the city evolve from initial stage.
Right.
So, and then their
How was
personal
the food?
stories. The food was amazing, but what happens, the thing about food is once you know where your food is coming, when it is combined with storytelling, that experience just goes on to the next level.
Absolutely.
If the food just arrives and you're asked to eat, you eat. It's a very mechanical thing.
Yes.
But when it is combined with stories. I was told that the desserts are not served at the end, but it's in the beginning. They are big, fond of desserts.
They have sweet tooth.
Yes. So the dessert was first served. So मुझे ये चीज़ कभी पता नहीं था. मैं शायद अगर मुझे कोई बताता नहीं, तो I would have said कि reserve it for the later.
Okay.
But I was told that no, we prefer having this in the beginning. So मुझे I accepted that and I had it and I enjoyed that experience.
Okay.
Then came the patrani machi and then the berry pulao and
The berry pulao is amazing.
So unfortunately वो जितना कुछ हमने and वो सब के बीच में ऐसा हुआ ना कि so my friend was accompanying me to shoot. Yeah. And वो थोड़ी देर के बाद बोलता है, रोहित, I cannot shoot because everything is happening, so much activity happening all around that we lost track. वो एक हुआ, and second my audio thing had conked off. I did not realize. Okay. So none of the audio got picked.
Okay.
So we had lovely conversation, but somehow I could never publish that. But then that remains one of something that as we speak. So that first came to my mind. And apart from that, the several other stories about street food, gems where I had visited and I met people and they told me stories about the place. Sambalpur being one. Lucknow, I met, in Calcutta, I met the family, the Nawab family's lineage. Yes. So they told me stories about how the food arrived from Lucknow, Awadh to Calcutta. Manzilat Begum, she happens to be from the family, and that was something, a revelation for me, because my connection is to Lucknow also because my mother is from Lucknow. It was nice knowing that how the food from Lucknow arrived to Calcutta and how it made a lasting impact on the cuisine that's being served in Bengal, and what was a Bengal infusion in it. So that was something that I picked up during this. In Lucknow, I met a Nawab Sahab. This conversation I had with him, it's also on my channel. He told me how Lucknow biryani or pulao is different from the rest of the biryani. There was this very nice description. I still remember his words. कि चावल में चिपक होनी चाहिए, चस्प भी होना चाहिए, एंड समथिंग उर्दू, द फाइन उर्दू दे स्पीक. सो अगर आप चावल को ऐसे छितरा दें सफ़ेद चादर पर, तो एवरी सिंगल ग्रेन ऑफ राइस विल बी सेपरेट एंड येट इट विल हैव दैट स्टिकी टेक्सचर टू इट, डिस्टिंक्टनेस. तो that is the thing about Lucknow pulao. And what they serve is pulao. It's yakhni based pulao, not biryani unlike what we get in. So these are some of the things that while traveling, while meeting people across India, I learned these things. I have beyond food.
Yes. And somehow all this travel experience have blended into your content creation process in the form of storytelling. Rohit ka USP जो people find is his storytelling, right? So you have incorporated very well in your videos, in your reels or shorts.
I enjoy knowing where the food is coming from.
Okay.
So मेरा जो शुरू करने का reason ही ये था कि मुझे वो कहानियाँ पसंद थी. So that where this food comes from, why is it being served like this?
The history is
the part of it. Basics at least. And if you will see my profile, it's a food inspired traveler.
Right.
So I travel to cities. I believe that the best way to understand a culture or set of people or community is through the food that the locals eat.
Absolutely, yeah.
You will get to know a great deal about the community from the food. So that is the reason I love interacting with people and knowing what inspired this cuisine and why is it being served in its existing form. बहुत in depth में नहीं as a historian, but मुझे एक
Basics,
brief
fundamental
जो
frame.
local जिस भाषा में बात करते हैं, जिस तरीके से समझते हैं, it could be as simple as a chai place, but how that chai place adds to the whole वो जो एक city का culture वो build होता है ना, तो उसमें why is it that important? वो because it's a melting pot of
Right.
all these
the
people
cultures
coming,
and cuisines,
coming
yes.
together at that particular place. Campus हो, अगर मैं BHU गया तो BHU में I would love to go and sit in a canteen and eat that long lata because students, generations of students have
Yes.
enjoyed
Yeah.
doing that. Samosa liya, long lata liya, and so getting a vibe, getting a feel of that, feeling myself to be a part of that. So you know, if you want to immerse yourself with the blend in yourself with the local, food is the easiest way to connect. So a lot of conversations can happen over food. The best icebreaker is food.
Correct. रोहित ये बताओ, ये मेरे को जानना था आपसे. You have a pretty decent following on all platforms, social media platforms. One brutal question or comment in the social on Instagram or Facebook or wherever that made you angry at that point in time, but later on when you kind of sat upon it, chewed upon it, realized that maybe it's true. ऐसे आते नहीं होंगे बहुत.
आते हैं बहुत सारे आते हैं. तो there is this. So what happens is कि मैं ब्रांडेड कंटेंट थोड़ा बहुत करता हूँ, तो रहते ही है. अब ब्रांडेड कंटेंट में इवन इफ आई डू सिलेक्शन, मतलब कि मैं किसके साथ कोलैबोरेट कर रहा हूँ, थोड़ा सा सिलेक्टिव हूँ. इफ यू चेक माई चैनल देयर आर नॉट टू मैनी
collaborators
कि ऑलमोस्ट एवरी डे कि आ रहा है. तो एंड सो थोड़ा सा सिलेक्टिव रहता हूँ. डिस्पाइट दैट लोगों के एक्सपीरियंसेस ख़राब होते हैं. तो वो एक्चुअली मैं जितना भी चाहूँ वो नहीं हो पाएगा. सो आउट ऑफ से 10, 8 might be very good, but 2 might, that might be a bad day for them in the kitchen. So the people, पैसा लिया है, पैसा लेके उसने ऐसे बोल दिया है. पहले मुझे बॉदर करता था कि यार नहीं, ऐसा सीन नहीं है, मुझे जो सर्व किया गया. बट देन आई ऑल्सो रियलाइज दैट सो व्हेन द शूट इज हैपनिंग, every restaurant tends to present food in the best possible way. अब मैं I request all the restaurants कि when we are shooting, please serve me the way exactly how it is being served to a. Do not do a decor which will plating which will not be done to a regular customer. That happened with me. So I was served a dessert. It looked very fancy, and that went viral. So when people went to that place, they were served in a slightly more basic form. And then they compared to the video and they said, he was served like this, why aren't we served like this? And that comment came on my feed. So I said कि यार ये discrepancy नहीं होनी चाहिए, because then what happens is they saw something and that is the reason they decided to visit that place. उसके अलावा then रहा कि biased review होते हैं. Honestly, what I normally prefer doing is that if there are 6 items and I liked 4 of them, I'll only mention those 4. I will give a miss to those 2. Right. I do not say negative about that. That I often
just
do.
Ignore
that.
it.
Yes, I ignore that item. I pass that review to the to the owner that these 2 dishes I'm not covering, and I'm very upfront with them.
Okay.
And they totally respect that. That मैं इन 2 item को नहीं push कर रहा हूँ. But these 4 items I liked, so I share my personal recommendation. ये आप 4 item try कर सकते हो. इसके beyond अगर आपने कुछ किया है, अगर हो सकता है कि ये subjective है. If I liked it, you may not like it. But mostly in general, people come back and they say कि we liked the recommendation. But at times it happens. थोड़ा सा पहले शुरू में करता था. अब I am very used to it.
You kind of gotten attuned to it.
Yes. But then there are at times people who make some personal remarks.
Okay, like?
आते हैं.
Be unfiltered. Like what?
नहीं आ जाते हैं मतलब
This makes you real and relatable. Like कैसे क्या बोलते हैं?
पर्सनल रिमार्क्स एक चीज़ मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा एक बार कभी बॉदर किया था.
क्या?
So what happened was I post content in English. So
Right.
always the idea was that I was making content in Odisha, but I wanted to reach out to a larger
Wider
audience. So my medium was never even Hindi.
Right.
I would prefer English.
Which is your mother tongue. So तुम चाहते तो कर
हाँ,
सकते
I could
थे,
have
but you
done in
wanted to
Hindi,
pander
but
to a
हाँ.
larger audience.
So मैं हिंदी भी बहुत I used to do less, but mostly English
Yeah.
from the very beginning. There was this someone who had mentioned in comment section that and then the fact that I'm not originally I was born outside.
In UP,
so,
yeah.
so that they pointed that person pointed out that you are an outsider, you don't know
The Odia culture.
you don't know anything about Kathak, you don't know you don't even know about our food, you are a UP fellow, you don't know about this and that. I felt that boss, I know probably more about the entire Odisha than you sitting there. And then I felt bad कि despite doing all of this, that somebody felt that I'm not part of it. So that kind of hurt Uswat.
But that must be
then
momentary.
that was
right?
momentary
Yeah.
because that's one person, but the other 99 people.
Saying lovely work.
So that particular moment, that kind of thoda sa.
It hit you.
Yes.
It's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Rohit, ये बताओ Katak's Dahibara scene right now. Now people will say Raghu Dahibara, 70 years old. What are the underrated Dahibara places that people need to know more of that haven't been covered in your socials at all? That haven't been covered in your socials?
There was this place which was now on social media, mostly on my channel, and a few others have also covered it. But for a long time, that was underrated. The locals would love it, but it was not out there on social media like the Holy Trinity of Raghu and Ishwar and Trinath. So these are where the more popular social media
influencers flock to.
Punya Dahibara.
Yeah, Punya.
And Punya.
Punya one.
So bhai.
Okay.
So, Punya is Bidanasi. And abhi bhi, I personally like that Dahibara. Only Dahibara, Aludam.
No frills.
Nothing else. And no haath se khana hai. So people who love it, they absolutely love it. But that now it's famous pretty popular on social media. But when I had first covered it, it was absolutely underrated. People of the Bidanasi and Tulsipur and nearby areas would flock. Parcel ja raha, sab kuch ja raha. But nobody was talking or writing about it.
Okay.
So that happens to be one of my
favorite
personal
OG places.
Yes.
Asking the restaurant owner or the hotel owner, the cafe owner, whoever it is, not to sugarcoat it and present it the way they would to a normal customer. You think influencers of today's, the younger ones, maybe lack that maturity to kind of call the shots on, authentically present whatever it is?
Some of them are, I have seen their flow of work, how they do. They normally prefer, this is a now changing trend where most of the influencers have started asking for the presentation wise, at least the food should be served how you would serve to a normal customer. Regular customer. So the appearance wise things are more or less, if you'll see the feed of different influencers, it's streamlined. जैसा एक regular customer को होता है वैसा है. What I see at times is missing is in certain, the ones who are upcoming, they don't talk much about the food part.
Okay.
So they recommend, but
the pricing, location, वो सब हो जाता है.
But then what did I like about it, or instead of giving a very generic answer कि इसका taste बहुत अच्छा था, at least one line, because you have 1 minute 30 seconds, so एक वो constant रहता है. But in that 1 minute 30 seconds, at least one dish, if you can explain a little more about it, so that way the person who's watching will feel more connected with the content, and they will also have that trust with you,
relatability,
that this person knows what he's talking. अगर कोई चीज़ नहीं पसंद आई, even if you're writing a negative review, so mention that in a constructive criticism way, that I did not like this because it was undercooked or it was whatever reason. if you liked it, at least one dish out of the 6 dishes, mention something about, और overall के बारे में एक line भी, 2 line भी, अगर आप थोड़ा सा in depth बता देते हो कि what you liked about this place.
Then
That
it
I
would
think
go a
I think
long way.
I think that with the connect with the audience will become, so you know, people connect with your personality more than your editing
Collabs
and
or who
whatever.
you're collabing
Yes,
with.
yes.
Yeah.
People connect with the person, and they connect because that person is honest with his, or they trust you for your reviews.
Credibility जिसको बोलते हैं.
Credibility जो होता है. So that will develop once you tell a little more about what you're consuming and why you liked it.
Right.
So I think my only advice to anyone doing this now would be, आप जैसे भी कर रहे हो, जो भी तरीके से आपका स्टोरी टेलिंग है, integrate a little bit about. So I see some of them doing that. I see some of them not doing that. So
At this point in time, whose work do you like? Whose body of work? Young, it might be a young person or like someone who's already in the business for long. Food creator, content creator from Odisha.
Aradhana does good. There's this guy, Hungry Young Man. He's doing good. Kajal, she is young and she speaks as Gen Z lingo, yapping. So she's doing good. Then there's young boys and girls of Katak, I believe. They have this page. It's a Gen Z group. Preeti, I'm forgetting the name. TVB or something. उनका page है. Very Gen Z coded. So they are catering. I मेरे पल्ले थोड़ा नहीं पड़ता है Gen Z.
तो वही मैं पूछना चाहता था कि अभी with the integration of AI and all this Gen Z crowd pandering and all of that stuff, what one skill that you would like to work upon? Yeah. What is that one skill that you would like to work upon to kind of, I'm not saying to kind of match up with them or to kind of copy them, but just level up your game to keep up with the competition?
I really
Learn
am
the Gen Z
fascinated.
lingo?
Yes.
Okay.
So you know, I can, you know, when I'm preparing my script, and if the brand is thoda sa Gen Z coded, I can
Do
integrate.
you do it yourself, the scripting part, or you have a
Scripting,
team
yes.
for
No,
that?
no, I do the
You
scripting
do it yourself.
mostly.
Okay.
So for anything that goes up on Rohit, I अभी भी मैं edit भी मैं ही करता हूँ, because वो
अच्छा, edit भी आप
मैं करता हूँ, because what I have realized is ये ना पर्सनल ब्रांड होता है. आपका जो अपना जो एक चैनल होता है वो पर्सनल ब्रांड होता है. मेरा जो एक आइडिया है, जब शूट खत्म होता है तो शूट में आई हैव पीपल हु असिस्ट मी एंड ऑल, बट एडिट के टाइम में मेरा एक फ्लो होता है कि मुझे ऐसा चाहिए ये. So I'll pass it on to the editor, but then there's a loss of at least 20-30% in you know translation में, and then execution में, and then final output is not. It might be much better looking. I'm not the best editor out there. It's very edgy, but that is also थोड़ा सा deliberate.
To keep it raw.
To keep it raw, because people relate with that, connect रहता है. But then उसमें क्या होता है ना कि माई आइडिया जो था इनिशियल, जिस तरीके से मैंने शूट के वक्त में एक फ़्लो मैंने सोचा था, वो मेरे माइंड में चल जाता है कि ये फ़्लो होगा वीडियो का टुवर्ड्स द एंड. वो जब शूट चल रहा है उसी के बीच में आई नो दैट दिस विल बी माई हुक, दिस विल बी माई, तो आई नो दैट फ्लो. सो आई टेंड टू कीप इट टू माई सेल्फ, दैट एडिट पार्ट, एंड या दैट वर्क्स. स्क्रिप्टिंग भी, तो scripting I'm very particular कि what set of keywords have to be used. So now since I collaborate with brands अगर, तो the whole thing, the back end part is very thoughtfully done. So अगर कोई ब्रांड के साथ एसोसिएट कर रहे हो तो उसका टारगेट ऑडियंस क्या है, वो क्या पिच करना चाह रहा है, वो किस तरीके से, इफ इट्स अ न्यू ब्रांड उसके लिए लैंग्वेज अलग होगा, इफ इट्स अ एग्जिस्टिंग ब्रांड उसके लिए रिकॉल बनाना है तो उसके लिए अलग होगा, पोजिशनिंग एवरीथिंग. सो दैट्स अ होल वेल थॉट process that goes. So every single line that I also say is there for a reason and not just saying it.
So paid collabs are happening here every now and then and everywhere. On a good month, how much are you making with paid collabs?
Too well, I mean,
Yeah, you can quote a figure. It's okay. You can give a range, no issues.
Good enough to maintain a good lifestyle. A good lifestyle where I do not stop myself from doing anything. So
Okay, understood. No problem. Now let's talk about some fun elements, okay? Three iconic personalities, they might be living or historical, that you would like to host, and what would be on the menu?
Oh. So,
You can take your time, but yeah.
historic personalities or you
Living.
want
Either living or historical.
Yes.
So,
The YouTube thing for me was inspired by two people.
okay.
One was Anthony Bourdain,
Anthony Bourdain, who is no more now.
who's no more, that historic, and then would be Mark Wains from Thailand. So so till 2017, I would do mostly photo wala
Right.
segment.
Right.
But then 2017, the whole reason why I picked up a camera and started speaking in front of the camera, it was because I saw Mark Wains doing it on YouTube, and I was totally inspired. "Okay, this is so amazing. I mean, how he explains food and
His reactions are so
his
real
reactions
and
are good."
spontaneous. Yeah.
So that was the first time that I actually got hooked. Then of course I used to watch Anthony Bourdain, but then I got more inclined towards No Reservations and Sab Dekhna Shuru Kiya, and then that iconic episode with Barack Obama where he takes him to
Right.
that restaurant in Vietnam
Right.
and
Right.
Bancha. So
So
that is
three
where,
personalities would be who?
Anthony Bourdain,
Mark Wains,
Mark
and
Wains, and third would be
SRK.
could be
Okay.
could be.
And what would be on the menu? What do
What-
you cook? You cook yourself. What would you cook for
So
them?
I make जुगाड़ बिरयानी.
जुगाड़ बिरयानी वो क्या होता है?
जुगाड़ बिरयानी is a mix of Hyderabadi and Lucknow style of biryani.
अच्छा.
So मैंने हमेशा लाइफ में मतलब जहाँ पे मेरे को अगर कोई टेक्निकली कोई चीज़ से दिक्कत हो तो मेरा सबसे ऐसे अगर बताऊँ तो जब मैं बचपन में हिंदी लैंग्वेज में स्कूल में सो मेरा क्या था दिक्कत की में छोटी बड़ी की मात्रा में मेरा हमेशा गलत तो सेंटेंस जब मैं फॉर्म करूँगा रोहित की और समथिंग तो मैं गलत कर दूंगा है ना हमेशा उस पर तो आईसीएसई एग्जाम में मैंने क्या किया मैंने ऐसे सेंटेंसेस फॉर्म किए जहाँ पे की को
जरूरत नहीं
तो
पड़ेगी.
वो एक जुगाड़ था फूड में आई कैन नॉट द होल आइडिया ऑफ डूइंग द कच्ची बिरयानी ऑफ हैदराबाद इट इज़ बियॉन्ड मी मेरे को वो लगता है कि मटन कच्चा रह जाएगा चिकन कच्चा मटन में तो मैं रिस्क नहीं लेता चिकन कच्चा रह जाएगा मैं ट्राई नहीं करता तो मैं वो कोरमा अलग कर देता हूँ बट आई फॉलो द इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऑफ हैदराबाद
ओके.
एंड द कुकिंग स्टाइल ऑफ लखनऊ तो वैसे करके मैं मिक्स करके बनाता हूँ
उसको जुगाड़ बिरयानी.
हाँ तो वो जुगाड़ बिरयानी है तो
ये तीनों को वो खिलाओगे आप. एंथनी बॉर्डन, मार्क वेन्स
को बैठा के रखूंगा जब तक ही गिव्स दैट रिएक्शन.
ओह इट्स लवली. ओके.
आंखें ऐसे बड़ी करके.
हाँ बड़ी करके. ऑलराइट.
एंड बारबेक्यू.
And barbecue?
I love barbecuing
outdoors,
at home.
yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Mutton, seekh kebab or something?
Chicken, prawns, butter garlic prawns is something that I do. Tempura is something that I make. Tempura prawns and those beer battered prawns. So that is something that could be on the menu as the starters, and then the main course would be the biryani.
With lots of stories in between, like the Parsi family that did with you.
Yes.
Yeah?
And if Anthony Bourdain would have been around, then maybe dahi bada aludam because
Okay.
that will have some story to share, and then
Okay.
and katak biryani for him because thoda sa different रहता. My favorite happens with TFC Dada biryani and Tukumiya.
Tukumiya.
तो उनकी
Okay.
so that's a mostly a event based wala. They do not have a commercial shop, but they make this very good katak style of biryani, which is again different.
All right. ठीक है ना, we'll do a rapid fire with you every segment with five questions and we call it 5 shades of grey because you're being quirky and not just black or white. Okay. Time for the rapid fire 5 shades of grey with Rohit Srivastava. All right, Rohit. Favorite road trip movie?
Oh, favorite road trip movie will be Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
Okay. Best biryani place in Bhubaneswar without any doubt, unfiltered.
Beirut.
Okay. Money or adulation and why?
Money follows.
Witty. Favorite food creator right now in Odisha?
Kajal.
Favorite food destination place apart from Odisha, and what dish?
Oh, then it has to be Lucknow.
And what dish?
Kebabs.
Kebabs. All right. That ends the rapid fire segment with Rohit. Okay, Rohit. Managing, you have a lot of other, you're pivoting and you're venturing into a lot of other spheres, domains. Food vlogging is also still there. How are you managing it all?
That is something that was a conscious choice. Beyond food, there are more sides of Rohit beyond food also,
Right.
other interests. And while I'm mostly known for my food and travel stories, but this side of mine, the other side, which it could be road tripping, it could be, I love road trips and doing other things. So that is something that I wanted to bring it out through my creative content also. And I started doing that. Plus, I just wanted some more थोड़ा बहुत challenges because क्या होता है कि
Comfort zone.
हाँ ये comfort zone हो गया था. I know the whole drill यहाँ पे वो ये step 1 step 2 step 3.
I understand.
But then when you are doing something beyond your existing genre, you will learn a thing or two. Abhi I did a couple of projects.
You fail, but then again you learn from that, right?
So I did a couple of projects, real estate से या फिर automobile से, and I would love to do automobile. I can integrate food उसमें.
Of
but
course.
then
Why not?
that was a different ballgame altogether. वो I had not experienced पहले, but then working on it, and no matter आपको कोई भी बोले कि ये हमारा काम ऐसा है ना, on the outside it looks very easy, effortless, and that is our job actually, to make it look effortless, that somebody who's watching might feel that this is just easy, क्या ही करना है इसमें. But वो थोड़ा challenge जो था ना, थोड़ा I needed that to do something beyond food.
Let's wrap up this podcast with this. You used to look at social media analytics and metrics through a different lens, maybe when you started. How do you look at metrics now? Do you really look at it? Are you bothered by it? Or you really gauge your impact on what you're doing?
So initially, so there was this feature in Facebook where you would put your channel and then you can add competitor pages.
Right.
And you can monitor कौन कितना कर रहा है. I used to do that. फिर I would see कि इसने इतने गेन के लिए उसका मेरा इतना हुआ है. I will feel happy about me. कभी I'll feel bad about me. But then I realized with time that you cannot keep up.
Right.
The numbers game is absolutely crazy. You will just lose your sleep. I do not even have as number of followers probably as most of the creators on Instagram. That never bothers me. मुझे ये लगता है कि impact जो है, the whole impact story, वो even with 10,000 views or 50,000 views, if I get a conversion of 7 to 8%, that itself is good for me, for any brand that I'm associating. It should be the impact that should come out of it in tangible ways. Numbers के साथ मैं आज समझा algorithm को, day after tomorrow या कल तक में it will change again and again you are back to square one.
Right.
So now what I'm sticking to is that my style was always this YouTube style, storytelling and having a longish video. So मेरे videos are अभी भी, I think the longest videos.
And you promise your audience that it will be the same. I mean, the core essence will still be the same.
The core essence will be the same. If you'll, abhi I'm posting this Manali series. So there's this exploring those hidden gems and finding out street food places, talking to people. So my videos are generally long. I consume the whole 1 minute 30 seconds. But I enjoy doing that. उसके बीच में I will integrate the best practices that Instagram suggests now. कि ये अभी के टाइम के हिसाब से, रिटेंशन के हिसाब से ये करना है. So I integrate the best practices what are being suggested, but I follow my something that I enjoy doing.
Right.
So just enjoying the process of doing things my way while integrating the best practices. That's being, always. So पहले मैं ट्रेंड के पीछे भागता था. this was something that I like said, because whatever is trending, I'll latch onto it.
When was this? Like
Oh,
till when?
So 20 was a big
Game. I mean the
defining moment
tipping
for me.
tipping point for you. Yeah.
Yes, 2021 onwards, the whole thing changed for me, because tab tak now I was competitive. I would look at numbers. I was very number specific. But then this whole वो थोड़ा zen mode में चला गया मैं कि अभी ठीक है numbers का
इनके साथ नहीं
नहीं
compete
करना
करना है
नहीं
मेरे
करना
को।
and you cannot. हमें क्या होता है and this is something I do not like using the word कि my fellow creators are my competitors, because मैं इसको देख के compete कर रहा हूँ, तो मेरा जो देखने का मेरा my whole
Benchmark.
focus is this.
हाँ,
But the moment I cross this, तब तक ना मेरा पीछे क्या है वो मैं
वो
देख ही नहीं रहा हूँ.
सकता, हाँ.
So the moment this person is done, I see जो beyond Odisha जो creators हैं, they are doing crazy stuff.
Yeah,
आप किसके साथ
absolutely.
compete करोगे?
Yeah.
So you have to do things that makes you happy and makes you feel that whatever you are doing is good, better than yesterday, और पहले जैसा आप करते थे उससे बेहतर कर रहे हो. मैं एक मेटा इवेंट में गया था. I was probably one of the first few people who attended a मेटा इवेंट in Bombay in 2019. मैं बहुत खुश. मैं 1 lakh फॉलोअर्स हैं मेरे फेसबुक पे. मैं गया हूँ एंड आई वॉज द टाइनिएस्ट क्रिएटर वहाँ पे अगर बोला जाए, क्योंकि दिस भुवन बाम, दिस गौरव तनेजा एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज पीपल विद मिलियंस ऑफ फॉलोअर्स, एंड आई फेल्ट स्मॉल. दैट इज़ व्हेन आई अंडरस्टूड कि मैं क्या देखता हूँ. मतलब मैं देखता हूँ कि ये कॉम्पिटिटर कोई कॉम्पिटिटर नहीं हो ही नहीं सकता, बिकॉज आई मीन द बेंचमार्क विल ऑलवेज कीप गोइंग अप. यू कैन नॉट लेवल अप विद constantly strive to compete with people. हाँ, वो मतलब लोगों के साथ compete करना वाला challenge is not something that I would like to take. I would love to take the challenge that मैं जैसे कल videos बनाता था उससे मैं बेहतर आज video बनाऊँ, and उस दौरान अगर if I can improve and my audience is enjoying my content, and you have to constantly keep evolving yourself. Otherwise,
that's a win for you. Okay. It was an absolute delight, Rohit, to have you on the podcast. Your insights added a great value to the entire conversation. I would like to really thank you for sparing out time to be on the Journey podcast. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you so much.